Welcome to the Daily Fantasy 5 for today, Monday, July 1st. This is episode 132, and we are bringing you the 5 things you need to know every day in the world of fantasy sports. Well, today it's not just 5 things. Today we've got a baseball story, and we've got about 30 different NBA free agency stories to go over. It is going to be a packed show. I'll try to go through each NBA free agent signing, give you the good and the bad, and tell you whether it is good for them from a fantasy standpoint. We're going to push off the tight end fantasy talk until tomorrow. So tomorrow we'll start going through the top 20 as far as fantasy tight ends go for fantasy football. But yeah, today we're going to pretty much do all NBA. We do have one quick baseball story to get to, and we'll do it right after a word from our sponsor, www.mathradio.com. Go to mathradio.com to get an online math course for as little as $9.99 to help your child ages 7 through 17 get better grades in school, score higher on exams, and even get into college. Once again, that is mathradio.com to grab an online math course for as little as $9.99. www.mathradio.com. All right, let's start with baseball real quick before we get into all of the NBA free agency madness that happened yesterday. It was crazy, crazy stuff. In Atlanta, the Atlanta Braves relief pitcher Anthony Swarzak, I think it's Swarzak, he's heading to the IL. He'll be out probably 2 to 3 weeks. He's been very good this year as a setup man. He's got a 2.61 ERA, 1.16 whip. If you're using him as a strikeout, holds kind of guy, he's gotten you 10 holds and 4 saves so far this season. So a very valuable player out of the bullpen in deeper leagues, but you're going to have to look elsewhere for those fantasy numbers. All right, let's get to the NBA. We'll start at the top with the biggest story. Kawhi Leonard did not sign yet. Easy. Okay. Here's where it all went down. So Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving both decided to go play for the Nets. Wow. So they each got the max. I believe Kevin Durant got $164 million, Kyrie Irving $141. Those were the highest those players could get. Now it seems like both of those might end up being sign-in trades. We'll get to that. Let's start with the Kyrie Irving part. There might be a 3-way sign-in trade between Kyrie Irving, for Kemba Walker and Rozier going to the Charlotte Hornets. So that would free up some cap space. The Celtics would have to send the Nets like a draft pick or something for helping them out. So from a fantasy point, well, first of all, I love the move for the Nets. They grabbed 2 of the best 10 players in all of basketball. Fantasy, Durant's going to be out next year. It doesn't matter. Kyrie Irving, the fit for him, I think he probably scores more on the Nets, but perhaps his assist numbers go down a little bit. They don't quite have the shooting that the Celtics have. Allen, isn't the kick and pop. Maybe you throw some more alley-oops to Allen than you did to Horford. But, I would see Irving staying about the same. I don't think he's going to have a huge uptick in Brooklyn. So I see Kyrie Irving staying about where he was, and Kevin Durant, again, he won't be playing this year, so it doesn't matter. Kemba Walker comes to the Celtics from the Charlotte Hornets on a $141 million deal. Again, that could be part of a sign-in trade. We don't know yet. That would be to help the Celtics clear up some cap space. I like this deal. I think it's great for the Celtics, who needed to do something after they lost Kyrie and Al Horford, as we'll see later. Kemba, should bring all the scoring that he did in Charlotte to the Boston Celtics. Hopefully he can raise his assist numbers up a little bit as the Celtics will have more players around him. I think his ceiling gets a little bit higher as he might actually get some more assists, and he should be looking at better shots than what he had in Charlotte. So his percentages should also increase. All right, next we move on to Klay Thompson. Golden State went ahead and maxed him out, a 4-year, $190 million deal. Again, just like with Durant, Klay Thompson is going to miss most or maybe all of the season in Golden State. Now we move on to Porzingis. Porzingis signed a 5-year, $158 million deal in where is he playing? He's playing for the Dallas Mavericks. That's right. So he's going to be hooked up with Luka Doncic. He hasn't played in a long time. So, where are you going to draft this guy? He comes with all the same risks that he had in New York. That he's do we magically think his injury history is going to go away because he's playing outside of New York now? I don't know. He's not going to be on my team. Wherever he ends up being on redrafts, it's going to be too high for my taste. There's just a lot of risk there. Certainly the ceiling's high too. He's going to be playing with the best player he's ever played with in Doncic. So we'll see what happens there. But I do like them locking him up. I was a little bit worried about that. All right, Jimmy Butler has gone from the Philadelphia 76ers to the Miami Heat in a sign-and-trade deal. They're bringing back Josh Richardson. Quickly, Josh Richardson, he's going to be, the fifth option now in Miami, so his value is greatly decreased. Jimmy Butler's value, however, is through the roof. I mean, Miami basically has nothing else. Jimmy Butler is going to be the man there. I mean, he could put up 24 points a game, something crazy like that next year. He should be seeing all the work he wants. Staying in Philadelphia, Tobias Harris re-signs with the 76ers. 5 years, $180 million. Holy smokes, that's a lot of money. That's what, $36 million a year? Wowzers. I guess Tobias is a borderline all-star. He didn't look good in the playoffs, certainly. And I mean, I don't think his fantasy value increases at all. If anything, bringing in Al Horford is going to hurt him a little bit. Maybe he gets some less chances. They also have the Richardson to feed. Yeah, I would say his value goes down as well. Next on our list, Chris Middleton. This is the ninth player we're talking about today. Chris Middleton, he's re-signing with the Milwaukee Bucks to a 5-year, $178 million deal. I like this for the Bucks. They had to bring him back. He's the number 2 behind Giannis. As far as Middleton goes, his value should stay the same. No problem there. Vucevic staying with the Magic, 4 years, $100 million. Seems like a fair price. Good deal for the Magic. And Vucevic should see no change in his value as far as fantasy goes. All right. DAngelo Russell reportedly has been traded to the Golden State Warriors from the Brooklyn Nets. Now, that seems like it is a trade. They're sending them, I think, a protected first-round pick and something else. So DAngelo signs a 4-year, $117 million deal. I'm not sure if that's the max or not. I'd have to look into that. But boy, do I like DAngelo Russell on this Golden State team. Holy smokes, it's going to be him and Steph. And they traded away Iguodala. It's going to be him, Steph, and Draymond. And, they're just going to be gunning like crazy until Klay Thompson gets back. So I love the fit for DAngelo Russell. I see his fantasy value going way up this year playing with those guys. Another great fit. I think this one is fantastic. Malcolm Brogdon, guard out of Milwaukee Bucks, is going to be playing for the Indiana Pacers. He signed a 4-year, $85 million deal. It seems high. It seems like that $20 million mark was the highest. They had went to go a little bit above that to land Malcolm Brogdon, but I love the fit for Indiana. You match him up with Oladipo, and then they brought in some other pieces around them. I think he's going to have a great season. He can play off the ball. He can get assist numbers. He can do it all. Love Malcolm Brogdon. I think he'll get more minutes this year as well and play a bigger role than he did in Milwaukee. All right. This is perhaps my favorite signing of the day. I've been wanting this to happen for weeks now. JJ Redick to the New Orleans Pelicans. I think this is the absolute perfect fit for JJ. He will space the floor. Zion doing crazy stuff and kicking him out the ball. Drew Holiday, driving to the hoop and kicking them the ball. JJ Redick should get all the threes all the time, and he's the perfect floor spacer for this team. He's a great team player. He's not a great defender, but he tries hard. I think this is a great signing for the team and the player. He gets 2 years, $26 million. New Orleans had the cap space. I wish they would have signed Al Horford as well, but that didn't happen. But this is just a great move for him. I think JJ Redick's value, he got a lot of shots at Philadelphia. I don't know if it actually goes up. It's probably about the same. He's getting a little bit older. So, about the same as where he was last year. DeMarcus Cousins is one of the only players that did not sign yesterday. Al Horford did take a deal with the Philadelphia 76ers. So I love Al Horford, but I hate this deal. 4 years, $109 million. Holy smokes. That, with some rough math, is about $27 million a year. Oh my gosh. The Celtics, the numbers I heard was like 4 years, $90 million. This is a full $20 million above that. I guess that's what you had to pay to get him to come over. He's a great player. He's a great defender, but now he's going to be like the fifth option on that team offensively. So where are his stats going to come from? And the rebounding, Joel Embiid wants to pad his rebounding stats. So I don't think Horford will get that either. So I really see Horford's fantasy stock going way down. Next up, this is the best. I've had a lot of best deals, but I love this one. Bojan Bogdanovich is going to the Utah Jazz. They needed more scoring. Well, they've got it this offseason. They brought in point guard Mike Conley from Memphis Grizzlies. Now they bring in Bojan Bogdanovich to go with who's their sophomore sensation. Oh, they got him out of the draft. You know who I'm talking about. But anyway, Mitchell. That team is loaded for bear now. They've got the offensive weapons they need. They've got the center to play defense. I love the Utah Jazz this year. I think they might come out of the West. I I know their Vegas numbers went from like 20-1 to 16-1 to win the title. I think that still might be good value. I love this team. They're going for it right now. Do I love the fit for Bogdanovich? He probably had more opportunity last year when Oladipo went down. That's probably his fantasy ceiling. I don't think he could do much more than that, but he's still a very valuable player. All right, the crazy pants deals now. Julius Randle signs with the New York Knicks. Oh my God, 3 years, $63 million deal. What are the Knicks doing? Did anyone have a worse day yesterday besides the Knicks? They had planned on getting Durant and Kyrie Irving. Nope, scratch that. They're going to Brooklyn, and your consolation prize is Julius Randle. He did have a good offensive year last year, no doubt about that. I think his value skyrockets on this team. He will be, I guess, the man. Like, he's going to be their best player, I suppose. He should get, the opportunity. He might put up 25 points a game, but he will play no defense. But for fantasy, it doesn't matter if you play defense or not, right? So I like Julius Randle. I don't like this move for the Knicks. Brook Lopez gets I thought he was going to get more money than this. 4-year, $52 million deal. That's what, $13 million a year. That's not too bad for Brook Lopez. It gives him some security. I thought he might do a 2-year, $30 million deal, something like that. But I think this is good for the Bucks, good for Brook Lopez. I think his role remains unchanged. DeAndre Jordan gets a 4-year, $40 million deal. No way he plays up to that contract, but what are you going to do? I think Durant wanted him on the team because he's his friend. All right, here's another crazy pants one. Harrison Barnes, who they wanted to bench at times last year, gets a 4-year, $85 million deal. What the what? Who would you rather have? Harrison Barnes or, what's his name? Malcolm Brogdon. They got the same deal. I would rather have Malcolm Brogdon all day and twice on Sunday. Harrison Barnes is not a good player. He did not play even well for the Kings last year. They benched him, like I said, but he's still signed with the Kings. 4 years, $85 million. Yikes. Marcus Morris has not signed. I want to just go through a couple more of these. Patrick Beverley re-signs with the Clippers. 3 years, $40 million. I know a lot of teams wanted Patrick Beverley, like the Lakers. Lakers didn't do anything yesterday. I guess they're still waiting on Kawhi. That's kind of the sweepstakes. The Clippers, the Lakers, and Toronto are all still leaving their cap space open for Kawhi. Just a couple other ones, more crazy pants. Terry Rozier, oh my gosh. 3 years, $58 million, $19 million a year for Terry Rozier. The guy who Boston fans didn't want to be on the floor for 10 minutes a game is now going to be the face of the franchise in Charlotte. Michael Jordan has no idea what he's doing over there. Another Trevor Ariza, $25 million over 2 years. I thought he was washed last year. That's just crazy. And then Ricky Rubio, 3 years, $51 million. What did Ricky Rubio do last year to get him $51 million this offseason? That's crazy. There's a lot of other deals, some smaller name guys. Bobby Portis gets a $31 million offer. Derrick Rose gets 15. Rudy Gay gets 32. Terrence Ross gets 54 for 4 years. Jeremy Lamb gets a 3-year deal worth $31 million. So there's lots and lots of deals out there. I do kind of like Ricky Rubio in Phoenix. He should be able to put up some stats over there and get the ball out of what's his name's hands. So, and obviously Terry Rozier gets a big bump. He's going to get all kinds of playing time. So from a fantasy perspective, I do like Rubio and Rozier next year on their new teams. All right. That is essentially the NBA free agency in a nutshell. It was madness last night as I tried to follow along on Twitter for about, it kind of started about 5 o'clock and ended around, I think the news stopped coming in around 10:30. It was nuts. Winners of the day have to be the New York Nets, Brooklyn Nets. You land Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. You are definitely the winner of the day. Now, I don't think this makes the Nets any better next year. It might actually make them worse. I thought they had great chemistry, and a lot of what they did last year was based on chemistry. The supporting cast in Brooklyn is not as good as the one in Boston. So what can Kyrie Irving really do on the team without Kevin Durant? I do expect Durant to sit out the entire season and not try to come back at the end of the year like he tried to do this year. So, maybe they're a 4 seed, 5 seed, something like that. Seems possible. And then, obviously, the other winners are the Philadelphia 76ers. It seemed like their whole team was going to explode and this would be over. But they essentially bring everybody back but Jimmy Butler. They get Richardson in the deal. They bring back in they don't bring back in, but they bring in oh my gosh, I can't think of his name right now. I'm going crazy. Al Horford, and that team is huge. So you're talking Ben Simmons, then you got Richards, Richardson. And then at your small forward, I suppose you're playing Tobias Harris. And then you've got Al Horford and the big man Embiid in the middle. That is a crazy big and crazy talented starting five. I don't know how they stop guards like Kemba Walker and Kyrie Irving. Who in the world is going to guard those little guys? But, I mean, that team is enormous. So that should be a pretty fun team in Philadelphia. And then even though Golden State did not land Kevin Durant, he did not stay at home, I still think they had a pretty good day bringing back DAngelo Russell as a pretty nice consolation prize for losing KD. So they should at least be able to hang in the playoff hunt until Klay Thompson gets back next year. So those would be my three big winners yesterday. The losers, I would say, are the Celtics. So I do like the sign-in trade that gives them a little more cap space. I do like the Kemba Walker signing, but they were not able to bring back Al Horford, and that really hurts them. Who else do I like? Oh, Indiana. I thought Indiana did great bringing in Malcolm Brogdon and all the other pieces they brought in as well. And then the Utah Jazz. Utah Jazz might be my favorite overall. I really think they're going to be amazing this year in the West. Mike Conley, Mitchell, and now Bogdanovich. That team can score, which they couldn't do last year, and they'll still have the defensive presence in the middle. I love it. All right. So, my friends, that is it for today on the Daily Fantasy 5. Sorry for the long show. We had a lot of NBA talk to get out there. Tomorrow, we will start doing the top 20 fantasy football tight ends. We'll go through those just like we did the last couple weeks with the running backs and the wide receivers. We'll, of course, cover any news that comes up. If you would, please visit our sponsor, www.mathradio.com, and pick up a math course for as little as $9.99. We'd also love it if you are listening to the podcast. Give us a 5-star rating and a review. We would greatly appreciate it. Tell a friend. And if you're watching on YouTube, hello, please hit that subscribe button and leave us a question or comment below. We will be back tomorrow. See you then. Bye.